The St. Catharines Flying Club is one of the oldest flight training centers in all of Canada. The source is here at the Niagara District Airport to learn today what it takes to become a pilot.
So this is our ground school room. This is what we use for all of our private, our commercial, our IFR, our advanced ground school. So this is where we teach the ground portion of what it takes to get your private pilot license or whatnot. For your private, you need 40 hours of ground time for your private pilot license. So what we have, our setup here, we have all of our students that sit around the table here, the instructors at the front, and we've got the TV that all the students can see the lesson on. So our ground school example for private, we've just had one that's starting up. That's going to run Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 to 10 p.m. and that's about an 18-class course, runs about 9 weeks altogether, and that gets them about the 40 hours that they need.
The St. Catharines Flying Club has about 60 current students, all aiming to get their licenses at 4 different levels.
We have a lot of our students come from even in Toronto and around Brampton area and north of Toronto, even in around Ontario, and actually even from around Canada. One thing that we actually make available to all of our students when they buy the ground school package that we were talking about is we actually give them an online access to the ground school. So all the classes that they see or people come here for have been filmed and put online, and it's put together very nicely so they can see the same instructor talking over a bunch of slides and pictures, and there's tests and quizzes that they can even go over, and that time gets them also the 40 hours required for the private license. So we've got guys in British Columbia and even in Timmins, Muskoka that are doing our ground schools that have heard about us and are doing that so they can as well get that ground school time that they need for a private pilot license.
The club's proximity to the U.S. border allows it to offer some unique advantages over other flight training centers.
We have Niagara Falls International Airport just across the border, Buffalo, Rochester, Erie, Pennsylvania, all the way down, and it's do a lot of flying over there and a lot of flying through the States, fairly simple procedures, and just something that we do here that you wouldn't get at most other flight schools, crossing the border and doing those type of flights.
Tyler's taking us up today in this Cessna. It's one of 6 planes owned by the St. Catharines Flying Club.
This is one of our Cessna 172s. We have 2 of these at our St. Catharines Flying Club here. It is a 1977, has about 14,500 hours on it, and it's one of our training planes. We use it for our sightseeing flights. It's very good with the high wings and whatnot. We can get some very good views out of the plane from it.
So you say it's a training plane. The people that are being trained have controls, but you as the instructor also have controls and you can take over?
That's right, that's right. So every plane you'll ever fly has dual controls. So everything, we've got the student on one side, we've got the instructor on the other side, and so everything the student does is replicated in on the instructor's side as well, set in time and anything is about to go wrong, or the instructor can step in at any point and help the student out and provide them with any assistance that they need.
So when we go up today, you're going to let me take control?
Yeah, we'll give you the controls. We'll talk through a couple of things. We'll get you looking outside where you should be looking, controlling the airplane and the different various attitudes and air speeds and whatnot, and we can show you what some of that looks like. The type of flying we're going to be doing today is what's called VFR, visual reference to the ground. So we're not going to be going any clouds or any bad weather. We have to maintain a certain visibility and distances from the clouds and whatnot. And so what we're mainly going to be doing is looking outside, and we're going to be using our instruments to confirm with what we're seeing outside.
Now, typically, if someone is studying to become a pilot, do they do a lot of ground school before jumping on the controls in a plane like the Cessna?
So what we do typically at the St. Catharines Flying Club, in order to get a private pilot license, you do have to attain a minimum of 45 hours on the ground. That's your in-class groundwork, looking over navigation, meteorology, general knowledge, air law, that type of training. And but typically what we like to do is have the students doing that at the same time as they're doing the in-air lessons, and that'll get them ready for the written test just about the same time as they're ready to go for their flight test. So then they're not leaving too much time in between, and they're ready to go for their license when they've got all their training complete. So.
Well, I know I can say one thing about Tyler is that he must have nerves of steel letting this reporter take the controls of that Cessna. I'm certainly not maverick in any way, shape, or form. The St. Catharines Flying Club operates out of both local airports and offers ground training sessions 3 times a year, the next one to begin in the fall. Reporting for The Source at the Niagara District Airport, I'm Mike Balsam.